All right, good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and as always with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast, and this is episode 211. It feels weird to say that. This is a show where we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation. But before we get on the show, I want to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. Visit us on Twitter at PS This Is Awesome. And if you want to make fun of our trophy list on the PSN, you can find me at anchorless_81 and Mr. Jake Peters at jakesaw01. As always, you can write our show at psthisisawesome@gmail.com, and don't forget to share the show with all your jabroni friends, and make sure you leave comments and rate the podcast you see fit, as you see fit, wherever you're listening to us, whether it be on YouTube. Send us a message. If it's on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever the hell you get it, leave a nice little thing so that people can see it and will be more prone to check it out. As a reminder, we are also a video podcast, a vodcast, a videocast, as well, so you can watch a show if you prefer over at our YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe to that. And for new and or long-time listeners, we now have a Patreon. You can support our show at a $1 monthly level called the one and only $1 Club. Head over to www.patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome to become a $1 patron and get your free die-cut vinyl sticker and a shout out on the show like Clint Gilmore. Thanks, Clint, for joining the club. Your sticker will be in the mail this week, and we appreciate all our listeners, and we most certainly appreciate you, Clint. So thanks for doing that. Our army is growing slowly but surely, and it's cool. I'm always excited when I see someone that likes the show enough to do that. I mean, honestly, it's really cool. It's flattering. I was just joking with Jake right before I hit the record button. I think we're the only people that I know that have such a dedicated podcast. There are people who start them up and do them, but they don't really do it for like a week or two or maybe a couple months, and then they're just like, it wasn't for me. But I know people who've done that. But to have the longevity that our show has is really something that I'm proud of. And again, thanks to all the listeners out there and the patrons and the non-patrons alike. Thanks for listening and giving us your ear for a little bit as we talk about PlayStation. So with that out of the way, Jake, how are you today? This evening, rather?
Today was my 13th day in a row working.
There you go.
And so there's two reasons why I want to do the podcast today. One, I was stoked that we got another patron. So it kind of rejuvenated my desires.
Yeah, going in the right direction.
Okay. So, and then two, tomorrow is the first day in 2 weeks that I'll have a day off.
Ooh.
So I don't want to do anything tomorrow but play Horizon and whatever else I feel like doing. So let's just real quick, let's see, calculator.
How many hours you've worked? Is that what you're doing right here?
No. I don't have the brain power to do that right now. But I've been able to play on average about 20 minutes a day of video game for the past 8 days. So since Horizon came out, because I basically did how many hours of Horizon I have, which is like 3 hours and 20 minutes in the last 8 days. So,
Man, he's glad.
yeah, I really want to get into it and kind of play more of it, but I have not been able to. So I was exhausted. I'm still tired, but tomorrow's a rest day. Tomorrow's going to be a game day for me. And, as much as I can tolerate it anyway. And then, but other than that, I'm pretty okay.
Good, man.
How about yourself?
Well, I'm glad you're at the light at the end of the tunnel with this crazy work couple weeks that you've had. I'm doing well, thanks. I spent some time. The wife's away for the weekend. Tomorrow morning, my band, One of My Land, is still going to track some drums. We had a setback with the band. It was nothing it wasn't like we had a fight or anything, just logistics. Weren't able to get back in the studio for various reasons. And so we're going to start back on recording that record, man. So that's exciting. We're starting that tomorrow morning again. We've got 3 drum tracks down, like three songs in which the drum tracks are done. So and we have to really do this kind of piecemeal. It's not like the old days where like everyone gets together in the studio and hangs out for a week or two and bangs out a record. Like we're all older and we have jobs. And so I'm doing well. I finished my Hero Quest journey, so it's all painted. I've been working on a custom campaign. I'm always doing some shit, man. I'm always doing something fun. Like I have to inject fun in my life, things that I'm interested in. So yeah, I had started this 4 quest campaign with a lot of flavor text and I'm actually right now, while the wife's away, I am play testing it on my own, which seems kind of weird. How can you be the dungeon master and the good guys at the same time? But my board gaming group is so tiny that I can't play test it with them because then I'll have no one to play the real thing with. So I've got to figure out a way to do it. So I have to play test it with myself. I thought about putting it up on there's a site dedicated to Hero Quest called Ye Old Inn, and I follow them in some Hero Quest groups and stuff. I could post it there, but I mean, when you start getting into this homebrew stuff, then you gotta like I have some custom cards that I created for this game, and I sent them off to be printed, like 14 different cards. And I was kind of annoyed because the artwork isn't great on them. So how I did the artwork for the characters, I have that 3D printer now, and I made some custom figures from Hero Forge. I designed them, and then I pulled them into Blender, and then I took a screenshot of it, and then I used like a filter in Affinity Pro to kind of make it stylized, and then I'm using that for the character image on the card, which kind of works surprisingly really well. But so I did all this stuff and I sent it out to get it didn't cost like $20 to get 14 legit cards made. So hopefully in 10 days I have them and they look well and they are good enough. My ultimate goal, and I'm going way off on a tangent, but I think the listeners will appreciate the dedication, and the ultimate goal is to get the cards made. And I have 5 bosses in this game that I've made designs for, and I'm going to print them on my home printer and get them painted. And then, like I said, I got the 14 cards, those, and then I have a booklet of quests for it, and a lot of like introduction, epilogue, and an intermission section that all play into the story of these 4 quests. And I'm going to get that printed. And then what I'm going to do is my buddy Mike, who did the album artwork for My Gasoline Heart, is also a huge nerd, and he has Hero Quest. And he goes, dude, I'm all in. I'll help you design box art. We're going to get a custom box printed, which doesn't cost really a whole lot. You can get a like custom little game box for like $15. And if he does the artwork and lays it all out, it's going to be fucking awesome. So I'm so excited. But I'm play testing that at the moment while the wife's gone because it takes up the whole dinner table. And I'm not fucking pulling that thing in and out of the box if I don't have to, because there's a lot of pieces, right? And when I'm play testing, I'm marking up the book and stuff with adjustments that I need to make, the difficulty and the enemies, and like, it's really fun, man. It's a good time. Anyways, that's what I'm doing this weekend. It's so nerdy, but I love it.
Hey, it's cool you're able to actually spend time on it and get what you want to do. And are you planning on like posting this online for people to be able to do?
Yeah, the dice tower. The dice tower I designed got a lot of praise. It got passed around a lot. In fact, what's really cool about it, I don't think I brought it up on the show, but this guy from the Netherlands sent me a picture of him printing the dice tower I designed. I'm like, dude, this is like fucking Star Trek shit. It's like we're faxing objects to one another now. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just like, okay, I'm going to fax something, he's going to print it somewhere else on paper, but like I took a file, he got it, and now he has like the plastic dice tray at his house. It's so fucking wild in the Netherlands. How weird. Yeah. We're in a weird... Man, we're really doing some cool stuff with technology. But anyways, yeah, so that's kind of the thing, man, that I've been kind of high on lately is recording music and then doing this Hero Quest shit and how all my pieces are painted. And I want to get like a bi-weekly or weekly group together to just run some dungeons, and that's a way easier game, and it's way more fun, I think, than some of the shit that we've gotten into in the past with board games, because Hero Quest is like one of those games you could just kind of drink and have down a couple and joke around and just roll some dice and not have to really worry about like all the technicalities of some of those board gaming games. So anyways, that's what I'm doing, man. You want to talk about what we're playing? You said you're playing a little bit of Horizon?
Yeah, I mean, I think from the last time we podcasted, to be fair, it's been a short week because we podcasted on Monday or something. I don't remember. I think it was Monday.
Dude, Wednesday.
And it was Wednesday? Tuesday. No, it's Tuesday because you're going to release it on Wednesday. Okay, so...
No, dude, I released it on the day we recorded it. I swear we released it on Wednesday. The listeners can correct us if we're wrong. I think we did it on Wednesday.
I'll tell you right now.
So it was 3
February
days.
22nd.
What day?
February 22nd, which was Tuesday.
We did it on Tuesday?
We did it on Tuesday.
Then I released it on Tuesday then.
So 4
days.
Whatever days ago. Surprisingly, there's a lot of news between then and now.
Yeah, there's enough.
We had a lot of news last
It was a
too.
great episode last episode, yeah.
I don't even remember where I was Oh, Horizon. So the last time we talked, I was 2 hours and some in where you finally get to the open area, the little open area there, and you're with chain scrape and all that shit. And so I did basically the first thing where you upgrade your bow, and then you go and you meet Erend,
the guy from Mohawk.
Yeah, who looks like the fucking lead singer of Sabaton without his glasses. I don't know if you know who Sabaton is, but if you just look up Sabaton and look up the lead singer, they look fucking exactly the same.
And we're still early on in the game, so it's not much of a spoiler.
Yeah. So, and Erend, excuse me, Erend is a character from the first game.
It's not
so
like
it's
a
not
new
like
character
it's a
reveal
big
or
thing,
something.
right?
Right, yeah.
So I've done that, where you meet him, and then there's this little puzzle thing where you find a ruin from the old days or whatever the hell they call it, the ancient times. I can't remember what the fuck they call it.
Is it the No Man's Land ruin?
No, it's literally it's literally when you're walking from Chainscrape to where you meet Erend, you walk past this old hotel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought this was really cool. I don't remember this being in the first Horizon game, but it reminds me a lot of some of the little puzzles that were on the map that I really liked in Immortals, Phoenix Rising. There's all around the map there'll be these puzzles that you can do. And they're move the boxes around and do the thing and unlock the door or unlock the chest or whatever. And when you unlock the chest, you get a thing, right? And it helps you make your character more powerful. Now, this particular thing gave me some fucking relic that I don't know what I'm doing with it yet because it hasn't revealed itself to me. But I thought it was cool because that was something that I thought was neat about. I thought it was neat about Immortals, Phoenix Rising. That I immediately got some sort of nostalgic comfort whenever I got to this little hotel and it was oh, there's a locked door up there, and oh, there's this crate that I got to move around. I'm oh, that's fucking dope. It's classic Zelda, kind of gameplay where you're doing these puzzles. It's not combat based or anything like that, and
it's not. So,
I love these optional puzzles. I would much rather something like this than a puzzle like in Uncharted where it's required to get to the next level. So they don't make it very challenging or anything because you have to be able to do it to finish the story. Whereas this is optional. So they can make it as easy or as hard as they want. Mm-hmm. And now I don't know, maybe there's a section in Forbidden West where you have to do one of these to proceed or whatever the hell it is. But to me, it seems like an optional thing that's pretty cool. Another thing, and I don't remember if this was in the first game or not, maybe you can correct me, that I think is super cool about this game and is really gamer friendly is when you pick up resources stick rocks and shit that I don't remember what they're all called, but the medicinal herbs and all that.
The twigs, the berries, all that stuff.
When you fill your pouch,
crafting material.
Right. When you fill your pouch, it doesn't just sit there and be oh, you're full. Oh, you're full. Oh, you're full. It just throws everything in your stash at the nearest town. So you can keep picking up shit, and it'll just like through fucking, you know, magic, transfer it to your stash in the nearest town, which is awesome, because one of the most frustrating things in games is like, oh, I need all these crafting materials to be able to do things, but like my current pouch level only lets me carry like fucking 5 thingamajigs. And so like I've got to kill 15 wild boar and like find a few dozen gems to be able to make myself a bigger pouch so that I can carry 7 thingamajigs. And it's like it's cool to me that like, okay, well now I can only carry so many of these on me at a time. Like when you're talking about bombs and medicinal herbs and potions and things like that. But when it comes to like crafting materials, it's like, just throw all that shit in the stash. And then, you know, whenever I run out, I can go back to town, fast travel there, whatever, get more stuff out of the stash if I need to.
And there's a button.
I can find more.
There's a button that refills all your resources from your stash if you have enough. It'll just max out your pouch.
You have to be at the stash, though, right?
But it's just one single button,
right?
And it's
it's
nice.
It's super gamer friendly, and I love stuff like this. Like this is the type of thing that would, you know, if I was a game reviewer giving games like scores, this type of thing would have, to me personally, way more weight than it should. Because like, to me, convenience is so important in video games. And I'm not saying that a game has to be like convenient to the point of being easy or like destroying the gameplay or whatever. But there are certain times when I'm playing games and I'm like, I don't need the game to be so realistic that like there are certain things that like I can suspend my disbelief on. Okay, like I don't need, like, I know I have infinite pockets. It's a fucking video game. Just let me do that.
Like what they could have done. What they could have done was make you the nearest tribe. You'd have to set up some sort of trade route to like drop off points throughout the map, you know, and keep them protected. And then you can use these stashes and they'll come grab it and put in your other stash. Like I'm fine with it just disappearing and magically showing up at town. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm good with
I mean, the more common thing and the easy way out would have been for them to just be like, oh, you can only hold 10 jiggers. And then, you know, you have to basically just use jiggers to do something. And it forces you, to me, the reason I don't like it is it like forces you to do things maybe you don't want to do. And maybe that's kind of a gameplay design. But like, to me, I'm like, I'm just going to pick up for the first like 3 hours of the game.
Tons of
when
shit.
I don't really have a whole lot to do. I'm just going to pick up everything.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a huge stash of stuff. And then now I can kind of play the game the way I want. And I don't have to worry about like fucking foraging. And it's, I don't know. I really like the feature. Well,
and here's the other thing. I was going to say, if the listeners are wondering, why is there even a stash if you can just collect infinitely? Like, isn't it just annoying to have to go back to the base now to get the stuff you've already collected? Like, why don't they just let you keep it in your pouch? And the reason is because some of these things help you, like if you only have so much in your pouch, that means you can only craft on the spot so many arrows, and on the spot so many healing potions, and on the spot so many bombs. So like if your stash were just readily made available to you as you're traversing the game, you would essentially be able to make limitless all of those things, and it would take the difficulty way down. That's the reason why there's a disconnect, I think.
Yeah, health potions, all that kind of stuff. Like you could spam the game if you were able to do that.
Yeah.
But so like, you know, other things that I have just immediately found that I love about the game, the music I think is fucking awesome. At least at the beginning. I love there's like the atmospheric. It reminds me. Like I love an open world game that has music that just like draws me in, and you know it kind of harkens back to me. I get like Skyrim vibes from it, where it's like, I'm not saying that the soundtrack is the same, but it's like between just the beauty of the surrounding, all of like the birds chirping, like all, I mean, part of it too is because the weather's fucking terrible here right now. So like when I play it, I just get like this longing for summertime.
Yeah.
And like that plus like the music is very like low key, but very sort of like it draws emotion. Like it is pretty fucking cool. And I don't know. I'm really the more I play it, and I mentioned this the last episode, like when I first started playing it, probably partially because of stress with work, partially because, you know, open world games are like, at this point in my life, they're daunting when I first start them, because I'm like, I don't have fucking time. And so like, but like now that I've been playing it for a little bit longer, just like walking around, it like, I enjoy it. I'm enjoying it. I think the other thing too is that I forgot that until the game told me that you can actually slow down time when you're aiming.
Oh, right.
Which makes the battle so much easier. Because like I'm like trying to hit the fucking canisters on the back of the bristleback while it's bucking around like a crazy thing. I can't hit them because I suck. And then but like they let you aim and so.
I still have trouble.
But to be fair, it's still hard.
I still have trouble.
But it is fun. It's fun.
Can I ask a question real quick, because I got a message from patron LJ, and he said that the resolution mode just absolutely sucks. And when you're comparing it to performance mode, I 100% agree it sucks in comparison. But it's visually much better. Now,
here's okay. You can complete.
I'm gonna say like I made the mistake of going into performance mode. The game defaults to resolution mode on the PS5. I made the mistake of going to performance mode and being like, oh my god, this thing is buttery smooth. It's 60. This is amazing. And then I think it was actually LJ that was like, everyone says it looks like crap on performance mode. And I'm like, does it? So then I switched back to resolution mode, and I just toughed it out for like 20 minutes, and it felt like it was choppy, even though it wasn't. It was just 30 frames, and then something clicked in my brain, and I just adjusted to it. Like, it doesn't bother me now. If I were to go back to performance mode, I'd be like, what the fuck am I doing playing it on resolution mode? I know I would, so that I'm not even going there yet, because I'm really enjoying the graphics. But I will say that I think that Sony or Guerrilla, somebody did a disservice to the game, because I think if it were a PS5 exclusive, I think they could have gotten some kind of middling setting where the graphics don't suffer as much in a performance mode. So we either have... The graphics aren't bad, don't get me wrong. They're still fucking great in performance, but they're so much better in resolution mode, I think.
It's funny to me that you say that, because I literally cannot tell a difference between the two.
The graphics?
Correct.
Wow.
I literally cannot tell. I mean, okay, I'm saying literally with like a grain of salt, right? I literally can tell a difference, but to me, it's so minor that
it's not worth the 30.
The frame rate drop alone makes it completely unplayable to me. To me, at this point, every game should run at 60 hertz or 60 frames, and if it doesn't, it's like, because here's the thing, I came into Horizon from Outriders, which Outriders even on Series S,
60.
which is a little console, is 60 frames. So when I jump into Horizon immediately after, I'm like, fucking Christ, this is choppy. And then like, but I'm like, I know that like, oh, if I just play this for a little bit,
yeah,
I'll get used to it. It'll be fine.
You do.
But I always
crazy.
do this thing. I always do this thing with these games, whether it's Ratchet and Clank, whether it's Returnal, whether it's whatever. I switch back and forth for like 10 fucking minutes.
Don't fucking do that.
And no, just not playing the game.
Just looking.
I go to a place that looks good visually, and I switch back and forth. And I'm like, is it worth it? And I'm like, 99% of the time, I'm like, no fucking way. It's not fun to play in 30 frames. Because here's the thing. It is fun to play in 30
I'm having
frames.
a blast at 30, and I adjusted to it.
But it's like, I don't know. It's like one of those things. Let me think about this for a second.
It's
I'm trying to come up with a good
explain.
I'm trying to come up with
and I
with a good analogy. It's almost like it's like
compared to like guitars, right? Like I started off playing a Yamaha Pacifica. I had nothing to compare it to. It did the job. It's on records that I've recorded. And then it's like, oh, or you could use this fucking SG. You could use this Gibson SG if you want. But then I'd be like, well, I like the way this one feels. Like, this is what I'm used to, right? And like, the SG... I don't know. I can't make the analogy. I can't do it because like the SG is just better all the way around. There's no compromise. Like you're not giving anything up except for money, right? Costs way more money. What's the sacrifice, man?
To me, it's more like cooking on a stove versus cooking on a fireplace, right? Okay, yeah. The fireplace looks great. Don't get me wrong. I love the fireplace, but do you know how inconvenient? Like, if you cooked on a fireplace your whole life, you'd be like, I don't need a fucking stove. I don't need a fucking, a little thing, electric stove with all these knobs, and like it costs $1,000 to buy one. And I don't need any of that. I'll just cook on a thing. And then it's like, okay, well, when you cook on a fireplace, it takes you 5 times as long because you got to make the fire and you got to get it the right temperature and you got to do all the things. And yeah, you get the same product in the end, but it's more challenging to do, but because it's almost like, yeah, I think that's not a perfect
So
analogy,
I think what you're trying to go, I can finish it for you. Cooking on a fireplace, you get that charred fire, burnt wood smell on your food, right? And that's the perk. Or you can cook on a stove and not have to be troubled by all the shit and have it be faster, have it be easier, have it be more convenient. And it's like, are you really missing the charred taste?
What's a better analogy if we're to tighten that analogy up a little bit? Is a charcoal grill versus a gas grill. Because a charcoal grill, yes, technically it makes better food, whatever. But is it worth the sacrifice and convenience when you're just making a hot dog? I don't think so.
We got there. We got to the analogy. We did it.
Like
high five.
9 times out of 10. I will say there are instances where it's worth it, right? Are you cooking like fucking ribs or some shit and you want to like, to be fair, like you'd probably use the smoker for that. But like, I'm just saying, like, it's an interesting thing. So, I mean, we literally haven't gotten to the news yet. We're just fucking bitching about Horizon. But like, I will say,
I don't know.
Like, I will say that I kind of appreciate your point of view because I used to be, especially when I played on PC a lot, I used to be super into graphics. Like, the technology was everything to what I really cared about. It wasn't everything in terms of what I cared about. It still had to be a good game, but like, I always loved that next game that like when Crisis
pushed
came out, that was
everything,
fucking crazy to me. Like I played this game at like 10 frames a second just so I could see what it looked like in ultra high settings. And so, when you talk about, but now to me, it's like, I don't know if it's the fact that I'm jaded by graphics at this point. Cause to me, it's almost like graphics are graphics now, right? I mean, it's like, I can't tell the difference between 1440 and 4K, or at least very like most of the time when I'm in the shit, I'm in the action. I can't really.
The difference isn't substantial enough.
Right. So like, so yeah, when you're in Ghost of Tsushima and you're riding your horse through like the fucking field and all of the leaves are blowing and the particle effects and all this shit, it's like, okay, yes, I can understand wanting to be on the highest graphical fidelity. You're not doing anything action oriented. You don't have to have all these crazy good reaction times or anything. And it looks amazing. And it, like, with the audio, it grants this amazing experience. But when you're in the shit and you need that reaction time, you need that like running around, you need all that stuff. Like, to me, highest frame rate is the only way to go, unless it's like literally like drops the resolution to like 720p just to get frame rate or something. Like, okay, yes, there are
both versions
limits,
both versions look really good. I would definitely not say it looks like garbage on performance mode. It looks fucking fantastic. There's something about playing it on the resolution mode to me now that
also I will say, and I think this makes a big difference. Sorry to cut you off, but you play on a much larger TV than I do.
I do, yeah.
So
what do I have, a 65 or 55? think I have a 65.
I have a 55. I have a 55-inch TV, and I think you have a 65. And I sit about the same distance away from my TV as you do.
Yeah.
So to me, the difference in resolution is almost non-existent because my TV is smaller. So as far away as I am, I can't tell the difference.
Right.
Whereas you are sitting closer relatively compared to the size of your screen.
Yeah.
So that increase in resolution probably makes a huge visual difference to you.
Yeah, and to me it's noticeable. And I'm not even a graphic nerd, but I'll tell you what, it wasn't easy. Once I flipped that fucking switch to go to performance, it was not easy to come back. And I did it, and it took me about 20 minutes. And then something clicked in my brain, and I was like, oh yeah, this is fine. I'm used to it already. Like, it's weird. It's a really weird thing to do. Like, you have to trick your brain to, like, be okay with it. I did it with Spider-Man Miles Morales, you know? And it was like, that game ran butterly smooth on, you know, performance mode. And then that resolution mode with the ray tracing and the lights and everything that was going on, I was like, wow, it looks fucking awesome. But, like, it plays like shit. It felt like it played like shit. I
wish more games would do the Ratchet and Clank thing and have a middle setting that's like ray tracing with lower resolution.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I think it really, and maybe that is what performance mode is on Horizon. I don't know
what
no
it
idea,
is. I'd like to see the Digital Foundry stuff on it. If they did it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have. Hey, let's get on with the show.
Are you playing anything else?
No,
Okay.
but Horizon related. I almost had a corrupted game file. It sucks, but I found a workaround. There was a relic puzzle. There are games in Horizon that are locked, and there are certain ways to open them. Usually it involves a puzzle or something, right? You have to get it from the other side, and you got to figure out how to get there. And sometimes you got to use this semi-spoilers, like an explosion thing that you get eventually. You can blow up the areas, right? Some of those puzzles require that. And when you get the thing, they show up on your map, and then you can find those and get all the explosions, get all the things behind the secret areas. And once you get them, it clears that off your map as a to-do thing. Like, it takes a little icon, and it just disappears, so you know that you've done it. I got to this place called No Man's Land. No Man's Land, it's a ruin, and there's a relic inside. And I posted like a 35-second video where I literally got to it, walked right through the locked door. The door didn't open. It was still intact. I just went right through it, my character, and the relic was right there, and I grabbed it. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I shouldn't have been able to do that. And then I looked, and all the places that I had blown up should have disappeared, but they remained on the map, and I didn't get the skill points for grabbing the relic. And the game had, like, I had saved it. Because I had done all this shit, and it was saved. It was saved, so it was done. I was like, well, if I just reload it, maybe it'll, like, acknowledge it. I reloaded it, and it was still incomplete. It was sort of showing incomplete, like I didn't have the relic, but I couldn't go get it. So then I tried to, like, go around the way you're supposed to go. In this specific one required you to take a battery cell, charge it, and then take the charged battery cell through another puzzle and load it into this thing. And then it's supposed to power up a terminal that you type a code in, and then the code should open the door. I put the battery cell into the thing that's supposed to charge the terminal, and nothing happened. And I was like, went up to the terminal, and it wasn't lit up, and I couldn't pull the battery cell back out because the game just fucked up. It just fucked me. And I was like, this sucks because now my save's screwed. Luckily, what I didn't realize was Horizon, as you're playing it, makes tons of autosaves. So I was able to backtrack prior to the thing that happened and lost a little bit of game time, but only like 5 minutes. So, but FYI, if you're playing the game, be very careful. It's a little glitchy.
Well, that's cool. I mean it sucks, but was that before they released the most recent patch, which just was like
today
or whatever?
It was today. So after the patch. And I also was at the hunting grounds, and I'm playing on resolution mode, so high resolution, and all of these chargers show up, and I'm fighting him, and I'm fighting him, and I'm trying to meet the criteria. You had to get them to explode, and their explosion is supposed to electrocute other things, and you're supposed to do this 3 times. I suck at it, so like I'm just killing them, and they're not exploding. So I'm killing them, and they keep coming, and I'm killing them, they keep coming, I'm killing them, and they keep coming, to the point where like I couldn't figure out how to fucking do the challenge, and I couldn't figure out how to get out of the challenge. And then all of a sudden, the game was like running at like 5 frames per second, and it's like, and like I pretty much broke it, and I had to turn it off and turn it back on. So weird things are happening with the game for me. I don't know. FYI, it's not perfect. But the game's great.
Something happened with my game too, where like my fucking PS5 just literally imploded, and I had to unplug it from the wall to get it to reboot. That's the second time it's happened since I've had my PS5. Now, hopefully it's not like a big deal, but funny story. My cousin, his wife, so my cousin's the same age as me. His wife was at like a conference in Florida for something for her work, and she won a PS5 as a part of this conference. And they don't play video games at all. And
are they just going to sell it?
I was like, dude, if you don't want it, I'll take it, but you could just sell it on eBay.
Yeah.
And he was like, he responded to me. He's like, yeah, I think we're going to sell it on eBay because they're like going for like $1,000 right now. I was like, yeah, fucking sell it.
Yeah, that's awesome because they're still impossible to get. Well, Jake, let's get on to the game news. We have been dragging the beginning of the show a little bit, but I feel like we're still, that's what I love about the show. It's just a natural conversation. It is guided by notes, but I didn't know we were going to talk about all the Horizon bullshit. So I'm glad we did. Let's get to the first news topic, Jake. Welcome to the PS This Is Awesome Patreon page. For those of you that don't know, my name is Fred Oakman.
And I'm Jake Peters.
And we're a PlayStation podcast currently in our 10th year. Our first episode aired in July of 2012, where we discussed and speculated on the arrival of the PS4. Over the years, we've used this podcast to take a break from adulting, share our love of video games, and in particular, PlayStation.
The audio podcast is available on all major streaming services, and we have recently made the leap to uploading video content and video podcasting to our YouTube channel, as well as the very occasional Twitter post or live stream. Over the years, we have covered everything from PS3 to PS Vita through the launches of PS4, PSVR, and now PS5. As our audience has grown over the years, we have decided to start this Patreon with the hopes of creating a medium in which we can give you the opportunity to help support our show.
And as a test bed, we're starting with a single tier. It's called the one and only $1 Club. So with your support at the $1 level, we're going to mail you a premium vinyl cut sticker and give you a shout out on the podcast. But at this time, unfortunately, we can only ship to the US and Canada. But this is subject to change depending on your interest.
So whether you're new to the show or you're a frequent flyer, we are forever thankful for your support and hope you can find it in your little gaming heart to join us in the one and only $1 Club. Until next time, like PlayStation, podcasting, and Patreon,
PS, this is awesome. As everybody knows, Elden Ring came out. And honestly, if you go to any news sites, all you're seeing is shit about Elden Ring. And unfortunately for the listeners, I'm not interested in this game at all. But if you want Elden Ring news or Elden Ring first impressions from this podcast, you're not going to get it from me, but you might get it from Jake. Jake, are you interested in getting Elden Ring or playing it or anything?
Here's the thing. I'm really interested in trying this game.
Yeah.
I am just not interested in paying full price for it because I can almost guarantee that it's not a game that I'm going to stick with. So like, to give an example, Bloodborne. I played Bloodborne for a while. I probably put 20 hours into Bloodborne, maybe 15 hours into Bloodborne. And I enjoyed it, but it just got to a point where I'm just like, okay, I get it. I like it, but I'm just not willing to go the extra mile to win, to beat this game.
Yeah.
Like it's just because of my personal schedule and everything, like it's not convenient enough for me. I don't have the time to learn the game the way that it wants me to play it. So, and it's the same thing with Elden Ring. If you like, Elden Ring is being touted like right now, it's like one of the best reviewed games in modern history. Like if you look at Metacritic, I think it's at like a 97 or some shit right now, which is insane. But
it's like the opposite of getting review bombed.
Yeah, but like,
do you think it earned it?
I'm sure it did. I mean, like, I'm sure there's a little bit of like, Souls bump, if you want to call it that, where it's like, you talk about like, I don't know, products and stuff that get, bumps because of like Nintendo bumps, right? Mm-hmm. Mario games, even if it's not really like a great Mario game, it's going to get a good review because it's fucking Mario, right? So I think there is a little bit of that because it's like Souls fans are fucking fans and in every sense of the word. So I think there is part of that. But like my understanding is that it's like pretty legit other than some performance issue. And so I don't know, like I'm interested in trying it, but I love the idea of these games. I am so exhausted just thinking about trying to battle through them. And so like I really want to play it, but I've got to find an avenue where I can play it without spending like $70 or $60 to play it. So maybe in the future, I'll say this. I'll definitely probably play it whenever it drops in price enough that I can like justify paying some money for it. Yeah. But like for now, it's not going to do it for me because I can't. Like I got Horizon, I got fucking, Mass Effect 2, which I'm really stoked about getting to. I really want to play Cyberpunk now that it's on PS5. Like those games, all three of those games require a time commitment. So I don't really want to jump in. I want to play Dying Light 2. So like, I'm not going to have time.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. Don't forget, now that we have a Patreon and we had a gift, an Amazon gift card, we do have about $30 for the podcast at this point that we can pick something up, You know
what? Actually, I might be able to play this game. Maybe, possibly. Because I do Gameshare with my brother.
Oh, okay.
And for those of you that don't know about this, you can actually Gameshare with one other person. You can actually have your account logged in to 2 PS5s, and the games that you download to those consoles are available to anybody that logs into that console. But you can only do it to one of their consoles. Sony purposefully does not advertise this because they want you to buy the games, right? So, but my brother and he's logged in to my account on his PlayStation, and I'm logged into his account on my PlayStation. And basically it allows us to share our libraries. So what you do is you basically, I'm not going to get into, Google it if you want to know exactly how to do it. Basically what it boils down to
at one point.
Yeah. So basically what it boils down to is like, I log into his account. He buys a game. I log into his account. I download it. Then I log out of his account, log into my account. I can still play it because it's installed on my PS5, and I still get all the trophies. I still get everything, but I don't have to pay for it. And it's the same thing with him. There's a couple games that I have that he wanted to play. So, he logged into my account, did all the shit or whatever. Now, obviously only do this with somebody that you trust because they have to, log into your account, have your username and password and all that stuff.
Credit card info probably is in there. And
if you have a credit card tied to your account, right. Yeah, like they could buy shit on it or whatever. But like, it's, but it's a cool feature. And my brother is a big, I don't know if I'd call him a big Souls fan, but he really loved Bloodborne. So I'm interested, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was interested in playing Elden Ring. So if he buys that, I might be able to dive in there and
dude, if he buys it, we need his first impressions. He's been on the show before. Bring him on.
Yeah. No, I'll talk to him. I'll see if he's. Because I don't know if he listens to the show, but like, I'll talk to him and see if he's gonna play it. Because if he is, then it would be interesting to get somebody's perspective. Because if we're gonna have him on the show and he does play it, I will download it and play it some too, so that there's, we can actually talk about it on the show, as far as like, as opposed to having like somebody just talk about the game and us two being like, yeah, right. So like, you know what I mean? But
fair enough.
Yeah. So anyway,
well, hey,
Elden Ring, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a patch coming forward for this game for the gamers who are playing it on next-gen versions. So they've come out and said that if the PS5 console is unexpectedly turned off while playing a game or it's in rest mode, your save data may not be saved correctly. So they are suggesting, for the time being, if you're playing next-gen, whatever the hell it is, Elden Ring, to manual save your game by exiting frequently. So that sucks. So I don't know how.
It's no bueno.
I don't know how big of a problem it is, but they know. They said they've come out and said we know what's causing the issue. We're going to put a patch out to fix it. But
so here's what sucks about video game reviewers as a whole, collectively. And I'm not trying to spit fire here or anything like that, but like, it's annoying that the Souls games, the From Software stuff, historically have pretty bad technical issues.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that, I don't know if it's still down, but there's a good portion of the Dark Souls games, maybe it's just one, maybe it's all of them, I don't remember, but that you literally cannot play online on PC right now because somebody hacked them. And if you are online on Dark Souls, the hackers can literally take over your computer.
It's ridiculous.
And so but this game has technical issues like this, where your game will literally have a corrupted save. Mm-hmm. If you do what everybody does and put their PS5 in rest mode, you can literally have a corrupted save, but it's got a 97% on Metacritic.
Yeah.
So whereas if you looked at another game that wasn't a Souls game, you're talking about some random fucking Joe Blow, AAA or AA game that has this type of issue, it's going to get knocked for it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Seems that way.
But anyway, we don't have to go into it. But anyway, it's cool that they're patching it. They know what's going on. I get it. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. We've had the conversation before about how much it sucks that, games are releasing like this now that they don't know that they're broken apparently until it fucking gets into everyone's hands.
But FYI, if you're playing Elden Ring on the PS5.
If you love Elden Ring, nothing against you if you love Elden Ring. It looks awesome, to be honest with you. I'm not good enough to play it.
Just be careful. Yeah, apparently, hey, next news point, Steam's handheld device, the Steamdeck. The reason I'm bringing this up on a PlayStation podcast, because there are some PS4 titles on Steam now. So Horizon, the original Horizon, God of War, the Uncharted Legacy collection. Apparently, they run really well on the Steam Deck. So that's cool. But I don't know, man. I'm not going to get one of these things, but it's still pretty cool.
Dude, I think the Steam Deck, to me, conceptually is awesome. It looks like a fucking, it looks like a newer Sega Game Gear or something.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And it's a PC. It's literally a PC that you hold in your hand, which is really cool. But this is awesome. I mean, I will say from the perspective, I'm not going to buy a Steam Deck, at least not right away, because they're really expensive. Mm-hmm. But to get one of the ones with the, better memory and all, or better storage and all that stuff, they're really expensive. But think about the whole idea behind the Vita, right? It was a console experience in your hand. They're saying you can play PS3 in quotes quality games on a handheld. They had Killzone Shadowfall, Mercenary, and Uncharted Golden Abyss. And
yeah.
And to me, the Steam Deck is the first handheld device that seems with the exception of the Nintendo Switch, it seems like the first device where it's fuck, I can play God of War on a handheld? If it runs at 60 frames and it looks dope.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
That's a good game.
I'm not saying that I'm gonna again, I'm not saying I'm gonna buy one. I'm not saying that this thing is gonna have legs or anything like that. It may or may not. Honestly, to me, whether or not this thing has legs is gonna depend on how well it plays the games. And if it plays the games like God of War and shit really well, then that's a really big success for it. And also I know this is a PlayStation podcast, but if they get fucking Game Pass or something on there, like it's gonna be. I think it's going to be really effective. I think the biggest problem with it is just the price point. I think the cheapest version of it is like $500 or $600, and that's with like the shittiest storage and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
like I said,
but this is cool. It is cool that you're able to play God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn or Uncharted 4. I mean, those games are pretty. Even nowadays, I would say like they're pretty good looking games. So if you can play them on a handheld, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you know what you won't be able to play in a handheld anytime soon? Gran Turismo 7. It's actually... this is interesting. If you pre-ordered this game, it's actually shipping right now ahead of its street date. So people are getting a chance to play this game before it's even technically supposed to be out. And we were talking about frame rate earlier. They showed on the Sony blog to advertise the realism of this game a real driver driving a track, and it's like split. It's split horizontally, and just above it is the exact same track being played in Gran Turismo 7, and it's just one lap around this track, and it's awesome. But talking about frame rate, the real footage looks like shit because the frame rate's so bad, and the game footage looks so smooth comparatively. It's so weird. It's actually really jarring to see because that stuff's like, what, 28, 29 frames a second or something. Probably actual real footage. Like that movie's 24.
It depends on the camera they're using, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
it might 24, be like 24 or 30 frames.
So it's like 24 compared to 60. So like the smoothness is just so fucking weird. But what's really cool about this little video, and you guys should all check it out, what's impressive is like the attention to detail of everything that isn't the racetrack. Because like the view they give you isn't even from the cockpit of a car. It is, but you don't see any of the steering wheel or anything. You just see the track ahead of you and it's going, right? So you don't get to see the actual car itself, but all these little towers they have in the distance and all these little buildings and outcroppings and the way the dirt, the elevations of next to the track, it's pretty spot on. It's pretty impressive. Now, it's not like, oh shit, that's fucking perfect. But I mean, like, they put the work in, man. It was pretty impressive. So I don't know if you saw that or not, but another game that I
didn't
won't
see
get,
it, but
looks cool.
Dude, Gran Turismo 7 is another one of those games that like I want to play so bad, but I know that I'm not gonna enjoy it enough to justify the price tag.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I would love an opportunity to play this game. I love racing. And so I think that this would be a really cool thing to experience. And Gran Turismo is historically like the Mac Daddy of fucking racing games.
Yeah, dude. It's
you know, in terms of sim racers. And it seems like they're like packing a bunch of shit into Gran Turismo 7 that might make it a little more accessible. But like, I don't know. I really don't know. But I am curious. The one thing that I did hear about it though, sorry, I got a chest thing, hiccups or something. But I guess that the gameplay of Gran Turismo 7 does not have ray tracing. I don't know if you saw this. So like on PS5, the game doesn't run well enough because in a racing game you have to have like the highest fucking frame rate possible. So like, because it's all about reaction time and all that stuff. So the gameplay does not have ray tracing, but they add it in during like the sequences where you're like in the garage like looking at your car and shit. So everything is like super high fidelity. And that's kind of an interesting kind of tidbit, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're coming into March, Jake, which means there's a new offering for PlayStation Plus games, and they've been announced. So the first one I don't understand, but it says there's a bonus game of GTA. Is GTA Online for PS5 the bonus game that you get, or is there a bonus game within it?
I think that's the bonus game.
Okay. And it's available from the 15th of March, I guess.
Because I'm pretty sure you must be able to buy GTA Online now.
On its own, it's standalone for sure. So we're gonna get that. So yeah. I might fuck with it. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't played GTA 5 next gen at all.
There's so much now,
and I haven't played any first person GTA 5. So
has the PS5 version, the next gen version, even come out yet?
I thought we were supposed to get it for free. Wasn't that like when the PS5 was coming out? Didn't they tote that? The PS5 owners would get it.
Oh! It comes out. The next gen version of GTA 5 comes out March 15th.
Okay, so we're getting GTA Online then.
And it'll probably be the next gen version.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I'll mess with that. Now another game I'll probably mess with is Ghost Runner on PS5.
Dude, this game looks awesome.
Dude, this game looks.
I hear
sick.
It's really good.
Yeah, look, it's like Mirror's Edge, but you're a ninja, so it looks really cool. For those who remember Mirror's Edge, first person like parkour game, but like action packed. So then we're getting Ghost of Tsushima Legends, which was the additional content for Ghost.
Cool.
So yeah,
that's the multiplayer stuff. I think
it's just the multiplayer, but it's still really, really good. And then Ark Survival Evolved, I think, is a cooperative online game, and that's on PS4.
It's really popular. I don't know much about it. Like I think
there's dinosaurs. It's kind of like a survival game.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, and I might be totally off base on this, but I'm pretty sure that Vin Diesel is obsessed with this game. I know that's like I think it's a really weird tidbit, but like to me that's really funny. Like I think he like wanted to be in the game or wanted to like have like some like development capacity or like ownership over. There was something really weird about Vin Diesel in Ark, like where he's like obsessed with it and he wants to be a part of it. And Vin Diesel is like he's like a well-known kind of dork for as like macho as he looks. He is like super into D&D. He really loves like, superheroes and comics. He played Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy. So, but anyway, continue. This is a good month.
Team Sonic Racing, which maybe isn't the best racer out there, but I hear it's really. I don't know anything about it. I heard it's really, really good. That's what I hear. I hear it's really awesome. It's a PS4 game. And let me see here. 12-player online, 4 local. Came out in 2019 in May. And it got some really good reviews, I think. I think it retails, well, depends on the day. But right now you can buy it on Amazon for like $20. But
so it's like a Sonic kart racer, I guess?
Yeah. So it looks cool. So that's a good selection of games this month coming up in March. I think maybe some people might disagree, but I already have Ghost of Tsushima Legends, and Ghost Runner looks cool. I'm gonna jump right into GTA Online. I'll try that out because I just want to see how that game looks on next gen. And I probably won't mess with Ark, but Team Sonic Racing I'll definitely check out. But let's move on a little bit more. We're running kind of long. Our podcasts have been getting longer, and I think that's not a great thing. I think we need to kind of keep them closer to an hour for the time being. But let's try to get through these. That game, Far Lone Sales, that we talked about, Jake, a few episodes ago, is now out. And I noticed over on the Push Square site, they said it's a lot like the first title in the series, which was called Far Changing Sides. But one of the cons listed on the Push Square write-up about this game is that the puzzles aren't challenging. So if we could just dial back our conversation briefly to reviews, I'm not sure that that's actually a con for me. It might be a con for them, but I don't want to get fucking perplexed on puzzles all the time. Like,
it depends. Like if that's the point of the game.
Yeah, but still,
then that's a different story. Yeah. Right. But if it's not the point of the game and it's like, okay, it's like, it's a platformery kind of game with some light puzzle elements, whatever, then okay. But I don't know. I mean, it's fine. I don't care about it. I mean, I would be okay with easy puzzles.
If I saw a game and it was like, this game's really awesome, but the puzzles are easy, I'd be like, oh, this is right. This is definitely for me. Like, I don't want to waste my time doing puzzles. Like, just, even if it's the point of the game, make me feel smart for a moment. You know what I mean? Like, don't make me feel like an idiot in my own house.
Yeah.
Sitting there like eyes crossed looking at the screen like I'm confused. Anyways, but I do like solving a hard puzzle. Makes me feel smart. But anyways, yeah, Horizon Forbidden West soundtrack. Jake, you were talking about how you like the soundtrack. It's now available for streaming on streaming platforms. So if you like the music of the game, you can go check it out. It's just there waiting for you, bud. So you can, on your way to work, put on the Horizon music soundtrack. And then the Ascent we talked briefly about this. This is previously an Xbox exclusive. It's on its way to PS4, PS5 soon. Third-person shooter set in a cyberpunkish environment. It's isometric, and it reminds me of Dead Nation from what I've seen. It's got skill trees and stuff like that. This might be a game on my watch list.
I wouldn't call it a third-person shooter, but because I've played this game, so I wouldn't call it a third-person shooter. It's like a isometric.
Is it like Dead Nation?
Like, yeah. So it's only. The thing is that when you say third-person shooter, people assume like over-the-shoulder fucking Uncharted style gameplay.
Oh yeah. No. This is like
so like
almost
no.
Top-down.
This is like it's isometric. Think about like Dead Nation or like a Diablo style viewpoint, something like that.
Helldivers.
Twin stick shooter, Helldivers. Yeah, I will say this, and I'm pretty sure we talked about this on the podcast before when I was playing it before. But like, this game is awesome. It has some pretty shitty flaws.
Yeah.
And one of them is like the difficulty like ramps up and down, and like it's sort of annoying, but like it's the environment of this game is fucking
the aesthetic,
awesome.
Everything.
This is like one of those games. This is one of those games where I'm like, this has everything to be a 10 out of 10, or at least a 9 out of 10. Just I hope to God they make an Ascent 2, because the Ascent is like, it's got everything, but there are some like critical flaws that pull it back. And then, but the Ascent, if they make a sequel and they can correct those things, it's like, it's got everything to be awesome. And it's got some interesting elements as far as like the shooting and everything that make it, you kind of have to get used to controlling the game. Like it's a different type of control style in the way that, you know, you have to basically, you're isometric, but it's still cover based. So you can duck behind cover or stand up or like shoot high or shoot low, which is really weird to control from an isometric perspective. So it seems a little overwhelming at first because the gameplay seems a little bit odd, but as soon as you wrap your head around it, it's actually awesome. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned this on the podcast when I brought it up when I was playing it, is that I think that this would be a game that you really like, Fred. So
it's on my list.
If it comes out and it's not like incredibly expensive, I definitely think you should play it. I think it'll run much better when you play it on PS5 than when I played it on Xbox One, because it ran like shit on Xbox One. This is the game, I don't know if you remember, this is the game that I was telling you when I started it. It took 8 minutes to get to the main menu.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about that.
You.
I didn't realize that was this game. I thought maybe you had played it, but I wasn't sure.
So like, because on last gen consoles on Xbox One, it took fucking 8 minutes to get to the main menu after you loaded the game, after you started the game. So if they integrate the SSD stuff, you know, performance issues be damned, then I think this is a great experience. You know, I wouldn't call it, you know, a perfect game, but I think that it's an amazing experience. And I think that it's a game just from a environmental perspective, it's so cool. So I really liked it.
Fair enough. So there's a game and a demo out now for Square Enix's Babylon's Fall, and progress you make on the demo is going to carry over to when the game's released on March 3rd. It's being touted as a cooperative action RPG. I haven't heard much about this game at all. I don't know what to make of it.
This is that game that was developed by Platinum Games, who did they did Bayonetta, they did Nier Automata, they did like a bunch of those games, right? So my understanding is that like it's kind of, this game seems like it's in trouble. And so I don't know. I hope it's good, because I hope, like, Platinum seems like they need a win. But like, to me, Platinum has been in the news recently, like literally begging Microsoft to buy them. It's like, without coming out and saying it in so many words, they've literally been like, because Microsoft bought fucking Activision and shit. So obviously they have literally endless amounts of money. Platinum has literally come out and like begged Microsoft to buy them, basically. And I think that it has sort of exposed some concern about the fact that this game might not be very good, and if it's not, it might literally fuck the studio.
This could be the one.
So, because this game was announced a while ago, and I think there was a beta test for it, and people didn't like it, like at all. So I don't know how the game. I hope it's good. For their sake, because I never played really very many Platinum games, but I loved Nier Automata. I thought Nier Automata was awesome. I thought it was annoying that I had to beat the game. I thought it was annoying that I had to beat the game 3 times to get the whole story. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed the game. I love the setting. I love the character. Like, I mean, for as much as the characters existed, I mean, they're fucking androids. But like, I really liked the game. So I hope it does well. Just so that, and they also made like Vanquish and stuff. So they're an interesting studio, and I hope that it does well. Square Enix published the game. I know you mentioned that, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, a little extra insight.
Yeah, thanks for that. And I gotta say, Jake, this is a common thread when I write the news. Despite the failures that I don't need a reminder of, but you just can't wait to tell me, G.I. Joe continues to try to be relevant in the game space. You can now play as Snake Eyes in Storm Shadow in Brawlhalla, which is a pretty big game, I think. And I've never played Brawlhalla, but I feel like it's been out there for a long time. Like I've seen it for almost ever. I don't remember a time where Brawlhalla didn't exist. I'm always seeing it in my feed. I'm always seeing it. They're constantly adding characters. They're constantly, there's always something about this fucking game. Well, G.I. Joe now is permeating into this universe. So your response to me when I sent you the text was hilarious. It was like something like, well, Brawlhalla
like
better...
kiss of death for Brawlhalla.
Yeah, Brawlhalla like better fucking watch out. This is the kiss of death for it. Because anything G.I. Joe touches goes to shit. Unfortunately, the movies all suck. The cartoons were fantastic. The figures now that are coming out are pretty good. But what I have read is that Snake Eyes as Wolf Timber makes an appearance with the character, so that's cool. Timber the Wolf will come and aid Snake Eyes as you're playing Snake Eyes. And I guess Storm Shadow, I've never played the game, so I don't understand how it works, but I guess his character, it makes it a little easier to chain attacks together. So he's fast. He's a ninja. He's got a bow and arrow. But yeah, man, yeah, I don't know. I read that, the what the hell game company, Wizards of the Coast, has that AAA, quote unquote, air quotes, AAA G.I. Joe game in the making. We'll see. So nervous about it.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, to me, it seems like whoever is dishing out the license for G.I. Joe just doesn't understand video games.
Yeah, it's Hasbro.
They're just giving it to whoever fucking wants
whoever will give
for
money,
like pennies on the dollar. So like, and it sucks because G.I. Joe does have a lot of really fucking cool characters. Like outside of I know that Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes are probably like quote unquote the coolest characters in G.I. Joe, just in terms of their rivalry and like the ninja status and all that. But like, you've got Cobra Commander and Serpentor and like all these guys and
Junkyard Mutt.
Think about like Roadblock, like all these fucking guys.
Airborne, Destro, Dusty, Zartan, the Crimson Guard, dude, Firefly. I'm looking at my wall here. Got Red Dog, the football player that's like works. He fights with Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders. He's a badass. He's huge.
Yeah, Sergeant Slaughter. Like if you think about just like it, like it's a game. It's a franchise that, to me, it seems like a no-brainer. Let's just say bare minimum. It seems like a no-brainer for like a Lego game. Imagine like a Lego game. It'd be amazing. You could play any of the G.I. Joes, any of the fucking. It would be awesome. Yeah. It'd be so cool.
It'd be so fun.
But they just keep literally
doing the worst shit with it.
It's like giving it to somebody so that it dies.
Yeah, Operation
Blackout. We'll get our. we'll get our $10,000 for the license from fucking whatever shit developer is gonna make this this nonsense game, but like give it to somebody who gives a damn. Like care about G.I. Joe a little bit,
dude. They could do so much. They could do so much cool shit, like the Dreadnoughts. Or Dreadnoughts, sorry, the Dreadnought, dude. It's been a long day. So the Dreadnoughts are like. They run with Zartan, right? Zartan's kind of the leader, but they're kind of like mercenaries for hire. And Cobra Commander always goes into dealings with them. They could do a spin-off game about the Dreadnoughts doing some crazy, wily shit, and you could be part of a task force so that they're supposed to be tracking them down through the fucking swamps and shit. And like, dude, it'd be so good. They got their...
Fuck, they could literally do like an MMO, like DC Universe Online, where it's like you become a G.I. Joe or a fucking Cobra, whatever.
Yeah.
And like you make your own character and you're in that universe.
Yeah.
And you just like are able to do shit one side or the other. And there are so many, it's like, to me, it seems so easy to make even just like a minimally respectable G.I. Joe game, but they keep fucking it up,
dude,
so bad.
Even if they did a beat 'em up like Streets of Rage with G.I. Joe characters to select from, or if they did a Street Fighter style game, like a fighting game,
that'd be cool,
dude, where they had like 32 G.I. Joes or Cobras, and like they're all like their moves are already built into their personas, like Mutt and Junkyard, like his special move, the fucking dog would come out and fight, Snake Eyes would be able to do ninja shit, Zartan could turn into any character because he's a face changer, like you could do Destro would have missile rockets on his arms. All these fucking characters are built for like a fighting fucking game,
It's so funny that now that you say that, all I can think about is that Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are the Ken and Ryu of G.I. Joe.
It's so true. Yeah, it is true. Cobra Commander has no special move. That's his special move. It's like he's just like the lame character, but he's still Cobra Commander.
He's the fucking M. Bison of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, he just does like a slide kick that kills you instantly over and over and over. Ah, God, it's so... I mean, we all know who's running Cobra, dude. It's the Baroness. She's pretty much the secret person in charge, She doesn't let Cobra Commander walk over.
Dude, I'm not like this G.I. Joe fan or anything like that, but like the animated G.I. Joe movie has a special place in my heart from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like I had it on VHS, I watched it all the time. It was so good.
Yeah. Well, the cartoons were just as good. I mean, the weekly cartoons, whatever, man. I watched that every day before I went to school. Dude, I'm not even fucking joking. Like, if you go back and watch those cartoons, as a kid, they were one thing, but as an adult, it's so smart. Like, Cobra Commander essentially created Bitcoin. Like, he did. He came up with it first. Like, he was doing, some weird fake money scheme where people were paying... Like, they were turning in all their gold and all of their American money for what he called Cobra dollars, which had no value, but he tricked everyone into fucking buying them. And he would give these Cobra dollars out. And G.I. Joe were like, we can't let this fucking happen. And they go and they find all of the Cobra dollars and gold that Cobra Commander was giving out was just it was like lead that was spray painted with a gold paint. And he was just handing the shit out to people. He was like a fucking brainiac. He created the weather, Destro kind of created the Weather Dominator and the mass device. The Weather Dominator is supposed to and there's actually a thing called this now, not the Weather Dominator, but it's a thing that was supposed to influence weather in certain areas. And I think scientists were doing it just to kind of fuck with it, to see what they could have happen in real life. But Cobra Commander found a way to fuck with civilizations, and he would shoot the Weather Dominator and freeze people and freeze their environments, and he would get a hold of the U.S. military and be like, listen, give me this, that, or the other, or Paris is next, or wherever's next, or Chicago's next, and I'm gonna, make tornadoes hit, and it was so fucking smart. It's so unbelievable and fantastical, yet there's still a grain of holy fucking shit, Cobra Commander's an OG. He was really trying, he was kind of a, I don't know, man. He was a pushover though, for sure. He always retreated, and he always run, retreat, that kind of shit. But his ideas They'd always fail, but they were always good ideas. They just failed because he had no follow through, and he could something would go wrong, like he'd forget to like fucking put ammo in a gun or something, you know. Anyways, enough G.I. Joe, man. I'll talk forever about that shit. New games coming out, man.
Hold on.
What, you got something? Oh, that's right. You did some notes.
Dude, I didn't put anything in the fucking.
There's nothing in my file
document.
Go ahead. What do you got?
But so the biggest thing that I found was on Video Games Chronicle. They are kind of digging up some stuff from Jeff Grubb, who his premium giant bomb thing, Grub Snacks. He was talking about his insight. He's like a video games. If you don't know who Jeff Grubb is, he's like an insider, like reporter who just breaks a lot of shit. He's like one of those guys like Jason Schreier who just happens to know a lot of stuff. Like he's got a lot of contacts.
He's connected. He's in the flow.
Right. So he broke. He talked about like his contacts talking about the new Spartacus thing for for PlayStation.
Yeah.
And he said that right now there are going to be 3 tiers, which we already knew about. And he says right now they're called Essential, Extra, and Premium. And that one of the things we were really concerned about was pricing. And he said that basically they're going to be $10, $13, and $16 is what he's heard they're going to be right now. And a month. I'm sorry. This is for those who don't know, Spartacus is the theoretical, which almost certainly exists, competitor to Xbox Game Pass, which is their subscription service to play a bunch of games for whatever. And so basically what he kind of runs down is that for the premium version, which is $16 a month, you get so like here's what I don't kind of understand. So let me drop all the way down to the lowest tier, which is the Essential. So Essential, which is $10 a month, is basically PS Plus as you see it right now. So essentially this service is going to roll in PS Plus and PS Now. They're just going to get rid of PS Now and it's going to be called whatever. Maybe it's just called PS Plus.
It'd be like $40 more.
Whatever. So it's $10 a month.
A year.
And I'm assuming like annual pricing might be like, I don't know, $70 or something like that. Okay. If you pay for a year at once or something. So with that, you just get like what you get now for PS Plus. And then for the let me see here. So sorry, I'm kind of reading it on the fly, but basically for the extra tier, you get anything on PS Now that's on PS Now at this moment that's downloadable. So not all the streaming games or anything, but the downloadable titles. So that's anything PS4, PS5. And that's like 250 to 300 games. So that would be comparable to what Game Pass is at this moment. And then the premium version, which is the $16 a month version, you get, according to this, it's like you get full game trials and you also get like legacy games, classic games. So what does that mean? I don't know. Is it backwards compatibility? Is it only certain games? What does it mean? So this is still kind of up in the air. So it seems, and I'm assuming it doesn't say this in the article that I'm reading on VGC, but it seems like if you pay for the premium tier, you get everything below it. Plus, so like
right,
essential tier, PlayStation
it's a tier
Plus.
System.
Extra tier, you get PlayStation Plus. And in addition to that, you get like 300 downloadable games or 250 downloadable games. If you do the premium version, you get all of that. Plus you get full game trials, I assume for like PlayStation game, first party games and all that stuff that come out. And you also get like backwards compatible shit and all that, which is
sure
pretty interesting. So I only want to bring it up because it's the first like thing that we've really heard in a while about Spartacus in like a month or so. And he also said in the article that it seems like they're really close to being ready to launch it. So this could be something that we see officially in the next month or two, which would be really kind of interesting to know. Because I'm guessing that like when they announce it, they're just going to be like, the first thing they're going to say is like, okay, everyone that has PlayStation Plus right now, like they're probably going to have to come out and say like, look, your subscription price is going to go up. Like it's not going to be $60 a month anymore. It's going to be $70 or sorry.
And if you're locked in for a year, we're just going to keep it maybe.
We're going to roll it in, right? You know, you'll just, when the next time you re-up, it's going to cost more money, but it's going to be, you know, maybe $10 more a year, whatever, $15 more a year. But then they're going to introduce these other tiers. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how that plays out. And like tied with that, which I thought was kind of interesting, because this is something that happens on Game Pass all the time. Shadow Warrior 3 is, which I don't know if you know about this, it's like an AA tier, like first person kind of action shooter samurai kind of game. This is the third game that's coming out. It has like a cult following, and it's going to be a PlayStation Now title at launch. So part of me wonders is if Sony's going to start driving for these like Xbox does, where they're like, let's get you a third party game like Outriders, for example. Outriders launched on Xbox Game Pass.
It was free right out of the gate.
And that's what made that game blow up. So I'm curious if Sony's going to start doing the same thing, because it seems like Shadow Warrior 3 is going to be is going to launch on PlayStation Now. And that might just be sort of a harbinger to things to come with Spartacus. And I'm just blasting through these points here. If you have any comments, please feel free to.
No, I think, I think you're onto something with that. Sorry, I'm lighting a candle down here. I think you're on.
So what?
Go ahead.
So a follow up to the Martha is Dead stuff that we talked about last time, where they were talking about like shit that was censored in the game for PlayStation. Apparently, I think the game is out now. It's been reviewed. And so we know that the stuff that was removed for PlayStation is the interactivity from scenes where players can slice and peel off a corpse's face and cut open a corpse's womb. So I assume, you know, a woman with child, with a pair of scissors. So pretty fucking brutal shit. And it's not that they removed it. It's just, it's no longer interactive. That's my understanding of it. And we kind of, I think, touched on that like last episode. We thought maybe that like it would be there, but it's just maybe not interactive. So they're not giving you agency over the scene. It's just playing out in front of you.
Yeah.
Then the other thing that they mentioned that they removed is references to masturbation, which to me seems like kind of a silly thing to remove from a game. But, you know, I'm also an adult who knows that like everybody masturbates, so fuck it. And then, you know, but maybe for like kids, I guess, but a kid should not be playing a game where somebody is like carving up a fucking corpse with a pair of scissors
and then masturbating to it.
I mean, that's just me.
And then rubbing one out to the corpse, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's so like, and maybe that's it. I don't know. But like, Jesus. And then it appears that there's there's an optional censored mode on PS4 and PS5.
Yeah.
That if it's turned on, entirely removes the face peeling and womb cutting scenes, as quoted by Video Games Chronicle. So alongside scenes depicting miscarriage and suicide. So in fairness to Sony, to be completely clear, I don't think any of this stuff should be censored. But to be fair to Sony, from their platform holder perspective, this game seems like it's pretty fucking gnarly. And I can understand from a corporate perspective them maybe not wanting to have something like this 100% showcased on their platform. But personally, Jake, thinks that this should not be censored at all. So that's just some additional exposition on the Martha is dead story. And then just a couple more quick things to touch on. One thing I thought was interesting is that Activision came out and made a statement to IGN saying that they're not releasing a Call of Duty game in 2023. So, which is the first time in a long time that Call of Duty has not released a game in a year. So that has missed a year. And you have to imagine this has to do with Xbox purchasing Activision. So, they made some fucking bullshit comments about how, we got free-to-play offerings in Warzone. But, it's interesting, at the very least, that Call of Duty will not have a new entry in 2023. The next entry will be in 2024. And based on Phil Spencer's comments and Activision's comments and everything, it seems like it will still come to PlayStation, but for whatever reason, they're not releasing a game next year, which is really bizarre coming from a game as consistently annualized as Call of Duty. And the last thing that I will say is that, last news point, I guess, is that Sony has filed a new patent for Mark Cerny about a way to essentially improve the performance of ray tracing on PS5. And so potentially we might see that if this is true, we were talking earlier about how performance mode versus fucking, whatever, resolution mode or graphic mode or whatever they call it,
right,
depending on the game. We might see something in the future where they're able to employ this new technology and maybe you can get 60 frames with the great graphics.
So something you can do with a patch, you think? Or a data, what do they call, firmware?
Yeah, no, it's like them able to utilize different programs that operate within the PlayStation 5 to allow them to apply ray tracing in a more efficient manner.
Yeah.
So like another program in the system that is essentially just doing like shaders and stuff like that, it might be able to handle some of the ray tracing load.
Yeah, like the
that would
workhorse.
that allow it to run more efficiently, which could cause us to be able to have better looking games with better performance.
Which would be cool.
So just an interesting thought. But that's all I had. I found a few things. So there was some other stuff, but nothing that I really feel like kind of going into detail on.
Yeah, no worries. Appreciate you sharing that with us, myself included. I did hear before we head out, it was just a weird promotion that Sony's still doing. Is they have these things out there. You've got these things, and if you spy them, whether there be like award shows or football game events, you can enter it on your Sony ID, and as soon as you enter in the code, it'll ask a really crazy question, like how many hours of this game was played cumulative in like November of 2021. You type in an answer. It's not even multiple choice. You just type in whatever the fuck you think it is, and you can net yourself some. You can put your hat in the ring to win a free PS5, and it seems like such a weird promotion that like.
It's kind of cool though.
Yeah, but it's like, just fucking make them available for us to buy. Like, why are you like we can't.
You have to assume though that they're talking about like maybe a couple dozen PS5s. Like, we're not talking about,
they have one.
If they're holding back like thousands of PS5s for this fucking thing, then yeah, I agree with you. This is stupid.
But what if there's only one?
They're
like, well, we have one. We're going to give it away to whoever can spy all these things and answer these questions. Like the jelly bean contest at fucking, I don't know, doll campers. Where it's like,
funny. It's funny when you say there's only one. All I can think of is Highlander.
Yeah.
So like my brain like immediately went to like, well, what if this PS5 has like a Highlander graphic on the side, and like it's like there could be only one. You have to enter all these contests and there's thousands of people. It's like Willy Wonka, but you get the Highlander PS5.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry.
dude, no, we're good.
We've been podcasting a while.
It's late.
Stop.
Going on an hour and a half. Yeah, well, let's call it, man. Hey, I do want to say,
it's a good week for games, like releases. All the games coming out this week are like legit games.
They're good. Let's talk about the games, because we didn't talk about the games coming out. But before we get into that, I just want to say one last thing, is I had been making the effort to try to compartmentalize our show on YouTube so that you can scrub to the chapter that you want to hear us talk about. It's a lot of fucking extra work, man. It's a lot of work. I want you guys to listen to the whole show on YouTube. If you don't, that's fine. I'm going to try to put the timestamps on, but like for me to, I should be doing it as we record the show, and I haven't been. I didn't do it again, so it may not be on the YouTube channel. But for me to get the time codes just right, I have to go back through and listen to our conversation. So it takes me at least another hour and a half just to get that time code stuff set up, because I have to listen.
You should take notes while we record.
I know, but I don't because it's distracting, you know. But anyways, new games coming out March 1st. Alex 2, PS5, PS4. Far, Changing Tides. We talked about that earlier in the show. Shadow Warrior 3. We talked about that. March 3rd, Babylon's Fall. We talked about that. March 4th, Gran Turismo 7. We talked about that. So we're talking about all the games coming out. We surprisingly hit them all except for Alex 2, which is interesting.
Which I've heard a lot of people really liked the first Alex and are looking forward to the second one. So good for them.
Yeah, we talked about that a few episodes back with, I think, some games that were coming out. But yeah, so that's all I got. You know, I hope you guys are being safe. I hope you guys are warming up a little bit out there. I don't know. It's still fucking freezing here. We had 2 days of decent weather. When I say decent, it was in the 50s. And then it just all froze. And it's nasty again. So I don't know. I don't know what we're in for. But yeah, I'm going to do some recording tomorrow morning. And I thought about putting some music on at the end of the show, but I didn't quite give it enough thought. I'd like to pick like another indie band that no one knows of and throw it on there. But yeah, no music this time. Maybe next time. Jake, you got anything for the listeners? Thanks again to Clint for joining the Patreon.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, that's all. That's all we got. Appreciate it. So, like Table of Tales, The Dark Pictures Anthology, and Twisted Metal. P.S.
P.S.
This is awesome.